After I finished piecing everything together, I realised that something feels slightly off, but something I haven't quite digested. I'm trying to shake the queasy feeling in my stomach when a noise heralds the arrival of the person I've been waiting for. You're supposed to be spending a suspension in your room. Sister Basket steps into the room. Her words are accompanied by a reproachful look. You're the one who sent me the note telling me you would return my letter? I am. I had Ichigo-san leave a note outside Sister Basket's room summoning her here. Yes. I needed you to come meet me. And I take it you also wanted to start the letter from my room in the first place? The accusatory word is like a stab in my chest. But I straighten my posture, unwilling to bow to his suspicion of seeing an arise ever since she handed down my suspension, and nod slowly but firmly. I thought so. Sister Basket signs a cross in front of her chest. I tell her at first, although it may be fine for me to be re-Hookman. What do you mean? At first I thought it would be best for me to go along with the accusation in the letter and be the Hookman. Because to clear my own name, would have to announce the real culprit. And that would be... I can hear a murmur of the phrase self-sacrifice. I look her straight at my eyes. However, I thought of Ichigo-san and Ringo-san who recommended me, of Rika-san who practiced harder than any other, and of Erika and Chidori-san who've taken time to teach us. And I'll be causing trouble with two second-year students too. So I decided to clear my name. I understand how you must feel with Shirahane, but the recitation is tomorrow, even if you begin seeking them now. I already know the truth. My statement echoes in the gloom. It feels like my words themselves are petrified, along the air through which now they reverberate. Here in the still and silent space, it feels as though the only thing moving is the gaze of my stepmother. She tries to ascertain what's happening. You know the truth, but a Hookman. Sister Basket's soft bewildered voice shatters her frozen air. I hold out a letter to her. In this letter, I say the details of when and where they saw me, the date, time, weather, and location. Are you suggesting these details are incorrect? No, they're surprisingly accurate. I was indeed lurking in the spot the letter describes. She falls silent, searching my eyes. Her probing gaze reminds me how Yatsuro-senpai would look inside of me. There's one inconsistency in this letter. It isn't anything to do with the date or the weather or the location. It's the fact that I wasn't dressed as a Hookman. That's nuts. Do you think I'm lying? A Hookman is supposed to be dressed in green overcoat carrying a hook. The only clothes we're permitted here in the academy are our uniforms. During a previous Hookman episode of the summer, I had theorised that people could have perhaps seen someone wearing a regulation school raincoat and carrying a weed whacker and mistaken them for a Hookman. That had been Erika's suggestion when she put the Hookman incident to rest in front of everyone, and I nod. Of course, people often see things that aren't really there. They see what they want to see. If I was wearing a raincoat or carrying some kind of weapon, I can see how I might appear as such. Then, however, one question still remains. If I were dressed like the Hookman, why would the sender of the letter say I had thought my black raincoat was green? Sister Basket goes silent again, staying down on her feet for a long moment before answering. The Shiigeki suggested that it might have been a mistake. You were sighted at dusk? Could it be a black raincoat being seen from afar not appearing green? And there we have it. I hear an internal sigh of relief. In the corner of my room, my stepmother cackles. In other words, you think whoever sent the letter saw me from far away? Men how are they able to identify me as a hookman? Huh? If they were watching me from such a distance, my black raincoat was hard to make out in twilight. And how could they possibly have seen my face? She seems to finally grasp the meaning behind my words. Looking down at the letter, still clasping my hand, she rubs her hand over her forehead. If I were going on in a hookman outfit, I'd have a hood put it down out low on my face, making it even harder to get a good look at me. I push on. It's true that after hearing rumours of a hookman at the Council of Nicaea, I set out to investigate those rumours on my own. However, I didn't see anyone in the area who would have been close enough to make out my face properly. And this letter is... I believe it was written by someone guessing the actions I would take. Anyone who knows me could easily work out I would investigate the Huckman incident if it was resolved. While the date of my letter is correct, it does not include any mention of the day I first set out to investigate the Huckman. I show how even though I set out to resolve a Huckman incident on the very day the council received a report, that date isn't included in the letter. In other words, this letter is designed to frame me. Truly speaking, that's not the entire truth, but it's a very palatable enough version. Would you speak to your members of staff and let them know there's been a misunderstanding? Whether or not I'm permitted to perform in tomorrow's recitation, I wanted to end my suspicion at least. I don't know what's going through Sister Basket's head right now. I don't think this long silence tells me much. I don't want to reveal her name if at all possible. But I don't want my friend's considerable efforts useless due to my own selfishness. Thus. This letter. Yes? It doesn't only contain a lie hidden within it and several messages. Are you saying there's some other hidden purpose of the letter? Nodding. I move closer to Sister Basket and hold the letter out before her. Do you see the illustration on the stationery? Yes. A reindeer, and are those numbers? She squints down at it. She's probably already seen the words counting from a reindeer's mouth, but without noticing the numbers on its back. I believe it's a message left for me by the sender of a letter. These numbers? As she stared down at a page, ask her whether or not she is aware Santa Claus has other reindeers beside the famous Rudolph. Yes, there are 8 of them, excluding Rudolph. Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Donner, Blitzen, Cupid and Comet. Yes? Sister Basket said she'd learned the names would assist from a poem. So that I learned them from a movie. Each name has a separate meaning. Dancer's name is self-explanatory, but take the 7th, Donner. For example, Donner means thunder in German. Oh, so these numbers on the reindeer's back. 1 and 4. It reads, Dasher is the first reindeer. The 4th is Vixen, which is a term in English for a spirited woman. Point to the final words from the letter. Regards. I think we'll send her a letter. Intended was to mean I should pass on my regards to a Dasher. Rika Hanabishi? And a Vixen, Erika Yaigaki. It's convoluted, but then again, it's her style. Kind of put smiles on about how particularly fond they were of Rika and Erika. But who on earth? I haven't said it was behind my letter, but a picture is emerging in Sister Basket's mind. My stepmother's glare following my every move. I feel how much I should say. The sender wants us to know who they are. Hit the end of a letter. I ask that you please not condemn the student who committed this prank. Too harsh a punishment would harm them not only physically, but mentally. They will perhaps lose sight of themselves and seek refuge in their own convenient version of reality. Please treat them with selfless love and compassion. Read the final few sentences aloud. Sister Basket, tense my cold voice echoes hollowly throughout the room. There's a hidden meaning to this passage too. The senders mixing information that only she and I would recognise. Selfless love. The Christian concept of agape. And losing sight of yourself, seeking refuge in your own convenient version of reality. Please stop. Just as I'm about to speak the word that only she and I have discovered, Sister Basket cuts me off, her words sharp as icicles, and I close my mouth. There is no need to continue. Why didn't I notice before? Sister Basket's eyes are as void as emotion and as cold as a midwinter sky. I had many fearful encounters in my life. With those who have lost their hearts, those who said love no one but themselves, those who only hurt others around them through to their own weakness. And yet, Sister Basket, the woman standing before me now is something quite different. She reminds me of those strange, chimerical creatures that live in the dark, cold, ocean depths. Very well. I believe you speak the truth. I shall inform the rest of the faculty there has been a misunderstanding. I don't feel any happiness. I'll be looking forward to your performance tomorrow. In Dahlia Basket's eyes, I see a ghost different to that of my stepmother. All I can do is stare at her in silence as she walks away. Sister Basket convinces the rest of the faculty that suspicions levied against me were all a misunderstanding, and my suspension is quickly lifted. In the end, the Huckman sightings were written off as a case of mistaken identity, and everything calms down. However, I know the truth. I know it was a Huckman. I was convinced it was Mayuri, but considering the circumstances, I'm sure other person was involved. At any rate, everyone's delighted with me, not least my Amitié partner, who led the charge. Surprisingly, so was everyone from the Council of Nicaea. During my suspension, I was forced to step down temporarily from my council duties. News of this stepping down seems to have caused a lot of anxiety for the other members. They were worried apparently the faculty would deem measures I passed an agenda proved inappropriate. There was a futile endeavour. They appealed against my suspension, but of course, the faculty was swift in their dismissal. Still, the newly appointed disciples of the Council of Nicaea must have worried that was somehow their fault. So I was surprised when members of a group turned up by my room in the middle of the night to check on me. However, I too am wrestling with anxiety. The ghost I saw in Sister Basket's eyes that day. At first it was unfamiliar, like something I'd never encountered before. However, those are my father's eyes. Yes, I knew that look. I'd seen in my gentle father's eyes from time to time. What was I seeing reflected in the eyes of my ghost, my birth mother? And the look of his eyes was the same as that in Sister Basket's. Was there something in his emotional connection to my mother, which I was never aware? My mother was always such a chatterbox, and yet, after she passed away, he introduced me, my taciturn stepmother, to our lives. Feeling unease well within me, I looked towards the wings. Despite my apprehension, there was no sign of my stepmother. Instead, I only saw Yuzuriha-senpai talking to Hakama-senpai. Thought comes to me suddenly. Perhaps I've been thinking of my father. Wonder about my name, through it before. I recall talking to my father about it. A common homework assignment in elementary school is to ask your parents about the origin of your own name. A name is the first gift parents give their children. When it's my father, where Suoh came from. Yes. That was when his eyes first took on that shade I saw in Sister Basket's. Seeing this for the first time, I went and said to my mother. She told me my father decided that after several days of intense consideration. She told me because I was their first child, he had put a great deal of thought into it. He chose it because I like the flower of a Chinese redbud, which is called Hanasuo in Japanese. Apparently my father displayed Chinese redbuds in his room only on particular days. Redbud, a Judas tree. Do you know that anecdote about Judas Iscariot hanging himself to some such a tree? Do you know what it symbolised betrayal? In the name of a betrayer, the time has come. Are you ready for this? It's going to be a performance like no other. I'm going to make you wait another few days for it. Bye-bye.